Previously on Meerkat Manor. Pregnant Rocket Dog clawed back her command of the Whiskers and evicted Sophie, who she saw as a threat to her unborn pups. And Maybelline's breakaway group, the Aztecs, were chased off their newfound burrow when Rocket Dog waged war on her rival sister. Following the famine of winter, the manor's table is being set for a feast. The early rains have put new exciting delicacies back on the Meerkat menu. As the manor's residents regain the strength lost during harder times, male attentions turn to adventure. Roving becomes the name of the game as teams head off hoping to hit on the ladies. The rewards can be great for rovers willing to take their chances and push their luck. Five young Whiskers males have already left the Kalahari's favourite family and headed out into the unknown. Leading the adventurous quintet is Rocket Dog's ambitious young brother, Zoro. The aspiring dominant male has long outgrown the constraints of family life. It's time to spread his roving wings, and for that, he'll need plenty of energy. A beetle that can spit poison into a predator's eye is no match for Zoro's sharp skills. He's confident and determined, but he has yet to fully prove himself. Now, away from the family, his chance has come. Kareem, the youngest of the gang, may have already bitten off more than he can chew on his very first roving trip. Immunity to a scorpion's sting means his snack won't kill him. He also learnt as a pup that eating the aggressive arachnid tail first avoids a nasty nip on the nose. But a claw stuck in your craw can limit your taste for adventure. Being rejected by your family can have the same effect. The boy's sister Sophie has been forced to roam alone since her abrupt eviction from the Whiskers. The once valued babysitter now desperately scratches out a meager existence alone. With no one to cover her back, even a momentary lapse in concentration could be fatal. In the distance, Sophie can see the rest of the Whiskers foraging successfully. But she's not welcome there anymore. In exile, Sophie's best chance of a new life is that her old commando rover Wilson will return. An evictee and a rover are a perfect match. But Wilson could have already moved on to pastures new, as rovers invariably do. Across the dunes, the Whiskers' bitter enemy, the dreaded Commandos, are returning to their burrow after a successful day's foraging. Their fearsome leader, Nikita, has a bad reputation in these parts. She's lean, she's mean, and she runs a well-oiled, warmongering machine. but Nikita has recently lost half her vicious army to the call of the wild. All but 4 young males have gone roving. Nikita is left with mostly female company. But nothing dampens Nikita's fighting spirit. She still keeps her ladies in line with assertive chinnings and scent marks. Trespassers beware. Nikita is not a meerkat to be messed with. Zoro and the Whiskers Rovers are now a long way from home. Miles, Baker, Panthro and Kareem have all followed their elder brother's lead. Their appetite for food may have been satisfied, but they're still hungry for females. Zoro spots a foraging party, and they seem to be down on males. This could be his date with destiny. But roving at Nikita's Commandos may get them more than they bargained for. A cautious approach would be very wise. For young Kareem, this is all very new. He may know how to handle a scorpion, but handling the ladies is an altogether trickier prospect. The apprentice makes a bold move out into the open and immediately blows the boys' cover. Nikita is on full alert. She rallies her troops and the chase is on. Nikita's had more than her fair share of roving males, but never 5 in one go. And this little lot will be after her subordinates. Nikita scent marks her females to reinforce her rule and to signal to the rovers that they picked the wrong meerkat to mess with. This will test Zoro's roving resolve. But then, Rome wasn't built in a day. Away from her brother's roving fun and games, Sophie's efforts to find a decent meal for one is not going well. About the only thing she's found in the long grass is ticks. Within the family, someone would always help groom out the irritating parasites, but now she has to tackle the hard-to-reach places herself. If only her commando rover Wilson was here to help her. The sight of a lone meerkat attracts Sophie's attention. But it turns out to be Axel, her adopted little brother. He might not be Wilson, but Axel offers some relief from the pain of parasites and loneliness. When night falls, Axel will head home, and Sophie will be alone once more. The next morning, an ominous gathering awaits the Commandos. White-backed vultures surround their burrow. Nikita's Commandos are immediately on their toes. These menacing scavengers normally feast on carrion, but as opportunists, they'll take whatever they can get. No one can afford to be complacent. Nikita instinctively keeps her army close to their underground quarters, just in case. But the Vultures are not the only threat the Commandos will face today. Zoro's Rovers are back. With Nikita distracted, this could be a golden opportunity to divide and conquer. Nikita and her mostly female warriors are effectively surrounded. Vultures to the fore, Rovers to the rear. If Nikita gives chase today, she risks exposing her army to the aerial danger. Zoro's Rovers are eager to get their claws into the females, but they too are caught in the deadlock. Who will be brave enough to make the first move? It's a false alarm. The vulture flies off. Zoro holds his nerve. It's time for the Rovers to make their move. Miles and Baker go left. Karim heads off to the right. Zoro takes on the central midfield. He keeps close to cover but maneuvers himself to maintain the pressure on Nikita's nervous commandos. To the right, young Karim spots his own chance away from the main action. A single female is hiding out under a bush without the protection of the group. This could be his lucky day. It's Nikita's sister, Clinky. Clinky is not exactly slinky, despite her name meaning small one. Not a bad catch for a roving novice. Underground, they find a tunnel of love to get cozy in. The youngest rover becomes the first to score away from home. But privacy is not guaranteed. The tunnel of love turns out to be bugged. Above ground, Nikita's commandos are under heavy surveillance, but so too are Zoro's Rovers. No one has yet seen the eagle owl keeping watch. Zoro edges closer to the ladies. Everyone gets caught up in the panic. The two opposing sides make a terrified dash for safety and end up forced together down the commando burrow. There won't be any love in this tunnel. Zoro's roving mission looks set to end in disaster. Away from the main chaos, apprentice rover Karim has been making the most of his time underground. As he and Clinky finally come up for air, Karim tries to make his big moment last just that little bit longer. His first roving trip has already been a triumph. It might be best not to push his luck. Back at the commando burrow, the rest of the Whiskers rovers emerge unscathed from their underground encounter. Luck may not be on Zoro's side, but he hasn't come this far to give up now. He could still turn this mission around. He and his accomplices begin to scent mark the entrance to the burrow. It quickly descends into chaos. This is unusual behavior for a group of rovers. Meerkats will scent mark their own territory, but this isn't the Whiskers patch. This clearly belongs to the Commandos, and the old enemy is still below ground. This could be about to turn nasty. Violent burrow raids often start with rivals digging at the entrance. A young commando male comes up to investigate. He's clearly outnumbered, and these enemy males look like they could turn on him any minute. Zoro has his enemy blocked into the burrow. The commando's anxious pleas are barely heard above the agitated mobbing calls of Zoro's boys. But underground, Nikita and the rest of the commandos know that something's not right. Zoro is turning this simple roving mission into a male dominance takeover. The commando hostage is finally released, but doesn't know what to do next. Zoro hasn't finished yet. This is only phase 1. He leads Miles and Baker back down into the enemy lair. But he could be making a grave mistake. Nobody messes with Nikita, especially in her own burrow. Nikita's on her way out, but Zoro intercepts her. He pushes her further down the tunnel, and the boys wedge her in. There is no room to fight and no way out. Zoro has his family's arch enemy under his control. Nikita appears to have fallen victim to an extraordinary coup. As Nikita emerges from the burrow, the smell of the Whiskers Rovers is everywhere. Her once formidable empire seems to be crumbling around her. When Zoro emerges, he makes another bold move on Nikita. And then his most audacious move yet. In a foraging hole, he swamps the feisty female warrior with his scent. Nikita puts up little resistance. The two previously sworn enemies now look almost comfortable with each other. Karim, back from his own triumphant adventure, joins the extraordinary scene. Then the Whiskers boys pile into the scrum. This menacing leader wouldn't normally take things lying down. Maybe there's more to this than meets the eye. The commandos watch as their once fearsome leader surrenders to the attentions of the Rovers. Nothing like this has ever been seen before on the manor. Zoro has well and truly made his mark on Nikita. Before the dust has time to settle on the day's dramatic events, a storm brings more turbulence to the manor. Everyone is forced to submit to the elements. The smaller residents huddle below ground, but a herd of eland is forced to endure the deluge from above. The once parched desert has been transformed into a glistening lake. The manor's residents emerge from their safe havens to find a whole new world awaits them. Zoro's triumphant takeover at the Commandos has meant he and the Whiskers Rovers are Whiskers no more. The ambitious rover has become a fully fledged dominant male at last. He and his accomplices now stand shoulder to shoulder with their former enemy. But formidable Nikita is perhaps the biggest winner of all. She needed new blood in her group. Now she has 4 more worthy warriors and a new partner in crime who's earned his place alongside her. But the former Whiskers boys had better watch their backs. Life under Nikita's command will be anything but sweet. Next time on Meerkat Manor, Rocket Dog battles to keep her unborn pups out of danger to finally become a first-time mum. And life turns nasty at the Commandos when Nikita wages war.